Welcome back to Sports Math. I'm your host, Greg Douglas. That's right. I don't need that mic. What I need is a drink. I've been working hard under these hot lights. Man, talk about losing your hair. All right. Here we go. So I'm going to have some pictures here of Drew Brees. Just visiting here, the virtual New Orleans Stadium, to do my math videos this evening, and we're going to do two more. This one right now is going to be triangles and trapezoids. We already did rectangles and parallelograms in part one, and then part three is going to be circles. All right, so let's take a look. I'm going to screen share. Here we go. Anything else interesting? The eyes, man. Look at that. You can see right through my eyes. That is so cray. All right. And the tie effects. Look at that action. That is super sweet. Okay, here we go. I don't know if I'm about to time travel. Scotty, beam me up. What? I don't know what's going on. Pretty cool, though. All right, enough playing around. Let's screen share and get the math done quickly. I try to make these other parts quicker. Part one, there was a lot more notes. This one should go a lot quicker. Sharing screen. All right, here we go. We are on IXL AA3, 7th grade, as you can see. I'm going to pick my, I don't think you guys can see my writing utensil. I'm still going to stay with gold in honor of the gold and black of New Orleans Saints, and also the gold and black of the Purdue Boilermakers. Shout out, Boiler up. All right, and here we go. So we already know that with a square, rectangle, or parallelogram, which is just a squished square or rectangle, it still has the same area, it's just been squished. So if you straighten it back out, it's still the same area inside the figure, okay? So those are all length times width, or what we call base times height. We use base times height in 6th and 7th grade from now on because it comes in more handy when dealing with triangles, trapezoids, and other such things, and parallelograms, okay? All right, so here we go. So what I want to suggest to you is, if that is the area of a square or rectangle, and you know what, I'm going to just draw one thing. This just made a world difference for me. Okay, so if this is my rectangle, okay, I've not done that before. Wow, it worked out. Let's see, what else can I do? Text, was it? Where did I do it? Draw. Now I want a straight line. So if I take that rectangle, which is base times height, equals the area inside of the shape, but then if I just cut it in half, look at me all looking like I know what I'm doing, okay? A triangle, that triangle right there has half of the area of the rectangle. So that is, right, ta-da, a lot of you already remembered this. So the area of a triangle is 1/2 times base times height, okay? So they already got the height here. I usually just look for an even number, whichever one's even. I'm going to take half of that. So instead of half times base times height, you can switch the order. It's all multiplication. There's nothing here. That means it's 1/2 times base. And I can switch the properties around. That's called the commutative property. Commute means to move, like traveling to work and such. So you can move things around as long as they're all multiplication or all addition. So I could have half of height times base. So half of 8 would be 4. 4 times 5 is 20. 20, twin. Okay, so let's put our 20 right here. And it's square kilometers. Well, that'd be a big triangle to measure kilometers. Ooh. All right, So there we go. Hi, Joe, I think you've got it. All right, then. Let's come over here. Clear that out, and let's jump to next level. Because that got us all the way to 36, going to the next level. Now, this is not a triangle. This is not a square. It is not a rectangle. It is not a parallelogram. Now, it is a quadrilateral we had in our previous video a couple back because it's got 4 sides. But this is called a trapezoid. A trapezoid has one set of parallel sides, the top and the bottom, okay? And for all intents and purposes, they call that base 1 and base 2, okay? So I have 2 bases. Now, if you took a pair of scissors and you cut along this dotted line, okay? And then I'm going to try to do this. I don't like to write a whole lot, but if you took this triangle and you flipped it around over, what are you doing, Mr. Douglas? Some of you know. And you put it right here, and that's not, I should, yeah, you know what I mean, okay? So if that was a straight line, but if you cut it and you flip it and spin it and rotate it and put it on the other side, you would have a rectangle. So it technically, guys, that's what I love about this. It makes so much logic sense to me, is the shape is still technically area equals base times height. The only problem here is I have 2 bases, so which one do I use? Does anybody remember what that's called? The average. And the mathematical word? Median, mode, and mean. The mean teacher made the students do averages all day long. Averages is, if you're in sports, you might learn them pretty quick, or depending on what other stuff you do. You're taking a number of things, adding them together, and divided them by that many, so you see the average. So I have 2 bases, so I'm going to add them together. 2 plus 3 is 5. Divide it by 2, because there's 2 bases. The average base length is 2.5. Okay, well, before I do that, let me just say, so the way you find the area of a trapezoid is you go 1/2 times base 1 plus base 2. That's my base. I'm combining them and taking half of it. That's the average base. And then I'm going to times that times the height. Okay? So half of the 2 added together, 2 plus 3 is 5, divided in half is 2.5. And then times the height. The height is 6. So 2.5 times 6 is going to be 6 times 5 is 30. Carry the 3 above the 2. 6 times 2 is 12 plus the 3 is 15. Oops, I put the 1 on the wrong side. Wrong side. Okay. Now, how many decimals? There's 1 decimal. So I have to have 1 decimal in my answer. So my answer is 15. Okay, and you've never had to memorize that formula. They provide it to you on the formula reference sheet. Okay, so you won't have to memorize it, but at least when you see it, it should make sense. You're doing an average of the 2 bases. That's how you do trapezoids. All right, now that's all there is to it, guys. That's the formulas. Now they're just going to get a little crazy with us, maybe with fractions and decimals, correct? Because IXL likes to explore all the different possibilities. So I think we got 2 or 3 problems left, okay? Now, now they're doing it backwards. Here's how this works. This is kind of like algebra, okay? So I know the formula, text box, okay? Area equals normally base times height, okay? But that's for rectangles and squares. This is a triangle, so it's going to be, a triangle is half of a rectangle or square, so it's going to be 1/2 times base times height, okay? Now, they aren't telling me the height, but they're telling me the area. The area is 103.4, should equal 1/2 times, the base is 18.8 times h, okay? So this is algebra. I need to solve for h. They're asking me what does, and in this case it's represented by the variable u. but I need to find out what that equals. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I normally say get rid of the things away from the h first. If I could have written this like this, because that means 18.8 times h. So because of that, a lot of people would do the half first, okay? So instead of timesing half, I could divide both sides by half, okay? If I divide both sides by half, which I usually do with a fraction bar, this is going to look kind of weird, but the main first thing you need to know is anything over itself cancels out. So if I have a half on top of a fraction, half on the bottom, that's going to cancel out. I can do that. I will use a straight line. So 1/2 divided by 1/2, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Now let's go back to text box. So, but when you divide something by a fraction, you're actually going to multiply it times reciprocal, okay? So 103.4, instead of dividing by half, or you could say divided by 0.5, or you could say times 2. Dividing by 0.5 or times 2, okay, because 0.5 would fit into it twice as much, if you follow that line of thought. So I'm going to have 206.8 on this side, and on the other side I have 18.8 times h. Now I need to divide both sides, and I really don't know off the top of my head. If I divide both sides by 18.8, and to save you all a little bit of time, since this is on video and I'm running out of room and doing division house with text box, you can always check your work when you're done as well, right? 206.8 divided by 18.8. Let's see if they were nicer if they gave us a word fraction. That's 11. Sweet. So 11 equals h. So the height is 11 inches. So let me come up here, click mouse. And if you didn't understand what I did, when you make a fraction, that means the top thing divided by the bottom thing. So I'm going to go ahead and do it real quick. So I divided both sides by 18.8 to get rid of that. So I would have nothing but h left on this side. And then 206.8 divided by 18.8, that's what gave me the 11. So the height is 11 inches. Okay, you're just doing the formula backwards. All right, brilliant, thank you. All right, that's a lot to clear. I'm going to go to next level, and I think there's just 2 problems left. Thanks for being with me, guys. Let's take a quick minute to say hello to another Drew. Yes! Winning! Okay, get them guns. All right, Pro Bowl quarterback, MVP, Super Bowl champ. A trapezoid, now we're going to have to draw it, okay? And under draw, they don't have triangles, but I can make lines, okay? So they're going to have a base of 14, which is going to be kind of long, and if you can picture, if you will, that it's parallel, trying to make it parallel, 14 and 4.8, that's about a third of it. Okay, and then I'm going to connect them. There's going to be a small top and a much wider base based on those numbers, okay? Now, I need to make a dotted line to do the height. And if they have that, there's always going to be a right, oops. It's supposed to be able to draw. I don't know why I did that. It's going to be a right angle right there, so I know that that's the height, okay? So text box, the top base, now I could have made it the bottom, I could make it upside down, is going to be 4.8, and that's a large text box. The bottom base is 14 even, and it's meters, you should always label. And then the height is 19. So actually I should have made it taller, it's a taller, skinnier. Okay, 19 meters. All right, I'll just use this box then. So the area of a trapezoid, I said, is 1/2 times base 1 plus base 2. Oh, there's not room. Let's sorry, boys and girls. Let's get the new text box up here. I'll start it up here. Try to stop me now, dog. Ah, I hate that. If you click outside the text box, it disappears. Hey, that's what we do in algebra. We make things disappear. Ah, come on, Mr. Douglas. I mean, I've only been doing this for a couple of months now, or a month. All right, copy, paste. 1/2 of base 1 plus base 2 times height. Okay? All right, so I'm going to scoot that over and do one more text box. So base 1 and base 2 added together is going to be 18.8. So 1/2 times 18.8 times the height of 19. Okay? So a lot of times I take the bigger number and divide it in half, so I have smaller value numbers to multiply with, but I'm going to end up having 2 3-digit numbers. And to make the multiplication go a little faster, it's easier to have 1 2-digit number and 1 3-digit number. So I'm going to take half of the 18.8. Okay, so half of 18 is 9, and half of 8 is 4. So 9 and 4/10. And even though that's smaller, I'm just going to put the 19 on the bottom. Okay, so times 19. Partly because I like doing times 1 on the bottom. Thank you for your patience. Okay, so 9 times 4 is 36. Carry the 3. 9 times 9 is 81. So it's going to be 84 by the time you add the 3 to that. And then we're going to have the 0 we got to drop down, and 1 times anything equals itself. So we're going to have 94 there. And almost got it. I went too far over, sorry guys. So our answer, we have 6 plus 0 is 6, 4 plus 4 is 8, and 9 plus that is 17. I think I can move this up a touch. There we go. Now how many decimals is there? There's 1 decimal, so it's 178.6 or 6/10. All right, let's get our mouse. Survey says 178.6. Drum roll. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Let's jump level. 2 left, guys. Okay, so it's the same formula. I don't have to repeat the formula. We still have 1/2 of B1 plus B2 times H. Okay? So base 1 and 2 together, 6 plus 9 is 15. So I'm going to have 1/2 of 15 times the height of 7.5. Okay? Half of 15 is, surprise, surprise, 7.5. So it's actually 7.5 squared, or to the 2nd power, or times itself. Okay? 7.5 times 7.5. Just line it up a touch. I feel like we did this one. It might have been the other day. I've done this one not too long ago. 5 times 5 is 25. Carry the 2 above the 7. 5 times 7, 35. Plus the 2 is 37. And then 7 times 5 is 35. Carry the 3. 7 times 7 is 49. Plus the 3 is 52. Scoot it on over. And line up or add them up. We got 5 plus 5 is 10. Carry the 1. 7 plus 1 is 8. 9, 10 again. Carry the 1. 3 plus 1 is 4. Plus 5 is 9. So our answer is 900. But then when you go and find, there's 2 decimal places. So, nope, Mr. Douglas made a mistake. You know what? When I go to that second line, there's got to be a 0 there. Right? So that's going to change everything. I knew that didn't make sense for the area to be 9. And we're supposed to go back and check our answers, right, boys and girls? So I got a 5er at the end. 7 plus 5 is 12. Carry the 1. 3 plus 1 is 4. 5, 6 in that column. And nothing to carry, so just a 5 on the other side. So this is my answer. There's supposed to be 2 decimal places. That makes a little more sense. And the nice thing about IXL is if you did make a mistake, once you enter, it's going to tell you you're wrong and how you did it wrong. And then you can go check your corrections. I mean, it's going to take a little off. Did I not make this mistake on the last one, guys? If you haven't noticed, my last name is Douglas. It starts with a D, and I love decimals. I love them decimals. So the question was asking for a fraction or whole number or a mixed number. So I would have to next time remember to leave it in that regard. I put decimals, okay? So the good news is I got the right numerical answer. And if this was an assignment I made up, I would accept either because that is the answer. That is the numerical value. All right. So last one, guys. Oh, plus that cost me a level, but I have a jump level button. And here we go. We're at challenge. Let's clear and make sure Mr. Douglas reads the instructions this time. Oh my gosh, this is what I was telling you about. It's 2 problems in one, guys. So which one has a greater area? Let's first of all see if we logically see, is there a huge difference? The heights are approximately the same. I mean, not quite. Okay, 12 versus 12.6. Now, the base numbers are quite a bit different, but let's add them and average them and see. They might be fairly close. On the light green, we have 11 plus 4.5 is 15.5. And so it's going to be a little bit smaller because on the other side, we have 6 plus 10.2 is 16.2. So the average bases is a little bigger on purple, but the average height is a little bigger on the light green. Oh, my goodness, my goodness. All right, so let's do this. I'll try to save you a little time because we're done after this one. So on the first one, it's half of base times base 1 plus base 2. So that's going to be 15.5. So half of 15.5. And then it's going to be times the height, which is 12.6. Okay? So half of 15.5. Half of 15 is 7.5 plus the 0.25. So it's going to be 7.75 times 12.6. All right? Okay. So I'm going to put it right here. Did I hit the wrong button? I want to just space it over. So technically I could just get rid of this one over here. I'll just multiply them right here. Okay. All right. So I'm going to save you a touch of time just since I'm showing you how to do it. You all know how to multiply. So 7.75 times 12.6 equals 97.65. Or how do we say that mathematically? 65 hundredths. Okay, so that's the first figure. Let's look at the second figure. It's going to be 1/2, and we have the base plus the height is 16. I'm sorry, base 1 plus base 2 is 16.2. I think faster than I can talk, so sorry, I say things a little bit off sometimes. So it'll be times 12. So half of 16.2 is going to be 8.1. This will be a little easier, times 12. Okay, so I'll put the times 12 here. And wrong way. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 8 is 16. 1 times anything is itself, but I gotta have that 0 there first because I'm going on the next line. So it's going to be 810. So when you add those together, I'm going to have a 2. I'm going to have 6 plus 1 is a 7. I'm going to have an 8 plus 1 is a 9. So there's 1 decimal place. So it's going to be 97.2. And the first one was 97.65. So I'll go get my mouse here. I'll select. And to say just which one's greater. Nothing about fractions or mixed numbers. Okay. So my decimal answers were fine, and it told me which one was correct. Hey guys, you too can be a champ. Let's check out. I'm going to move this down so I can get them. There we go. We all need good tutors and coaches. Hearts and prayers again out to full recovery, I think, has been achieved by Coach Sean Payton. Was one of the first prominent NFL figures to come down with the COVID-19. Thank you so much for all you've done for that program. Great risk taker, aggressive, love his play calling. Great guy. You too can score touchdowns in life and in math, guys. Just do the work. Check your answers. Put in the time. Here's Drew Brees in college, won the Rose Bowl. It's like the last game of the year. If you're one of the best in the nation, you get put in like a championship playoff type situation. And great job there. And then he was also Super Bowl champ. Thank you, Drew Brees. There walks a legend, my friends. Hey, God bless and protect you all and your families. And we'll do part 3 on circles, and that's it. There'll be one more video for this week after that.